The air crackled with anticipation. Thousands upon thousands gathered in St. Peter's Square, a sea of souls all drawn together by a shared faith and a momentous occasion, the first homily of Pope Tagle. The sun seemed to shine a little brighter that day, as if heaven itself leaned down to witness history in the making. As the newly elected pontiff approached the microphone, a hush fell over the crowd. This was more than just a speech. This was the beginning of a new chapter for the Catholic Church. His voice, warm and resonant, seemed to embrace the square. He spoke of peace, of unity, of a renewed vision for the Church. His words, though simple, carried a weight that spoke to the deepest longings of the human heart. Here was a man who radiated humility, a shepherd who understood the hopes and fears of his flock. In that moment, as Pope Tagle uttered his first words as the leader of over 1 billion souls, time seemed to stand still. The weight of history, the hopes of the future, all converged in the heart of Rome. A new dawn had broken for the Catholic Church. Tears streamed down countless faces. They were tears of joy, tears of hope, tears of a faith reignited. Pope Tagle's words, imbued with the love of Christ, resonated deeply within the hearts of the faithful. He spoke of the Eucharist, the source and summit of their faith, urging them to rediscover the power of this sacred sacrament. His voice, at times soft and contemplative, at times soaring with passion, painted a vision of a church alive with missionary zeal, a church that embraced the peripheries, a church that dared to love without limits. There was a palpable sense of unity in the air, a feeling that transcended language, culture, and nationality. The barriers that so often divide melted away, replaced by a shared love for Christ and His Church. In that moment, under the clear blue sky, they were not strangers, but brothers and sisters, united in faith and love. Each word that flowed from the Pope's lips seemed to carry a profound depth of meaning. He challenged the faithful to look inward, to examine their own lives and rediscover the gifts that God had bestowed upon them. He reminded them that they were not merely recipients of God's grace, but also its bearers, called to share the light of Christ with a world shrouded in darkness. One phrase in particular seemed to reverberate through the square: embrace the gift, be the gift. In those 5 simple words, Pope Tagle encapsulated the essence of his message, a message that called for both personal conversion and outward action. He urged the faithful to recognize the unique gifts that God had given them and to use those gifts to serve others, to build bridges of understanding and to spread the message of God's love. The crowd listened with rapt attention, their hearts stirred by his words. He spoke of the importance of listening, truly listening, to the cries of the poor and the marginalized. He reminded them that the Church was not a fortress, but a field hospital, open to all who were wounded and in need of healing. He challenged them to step outside of their comfort zones, to reach out to those who were different from them, and to build a more just and compassionate world. His words were not a call to complacency, but a call to action, a call to become the hands and feet of Christ in the world. Pope Tagle's first homily resonated far beyond St. Peter's Square. News of his message spread globally, shared by media and social platforms. From cities to villages, people paused to listen and find hope. Religious leaders praised his message of unity and peace. World leaders took note. Statements of support poured in from presidents and diplomats. Pope Tagle's message struck a chord, resonating with many. The faithful expressed their joy on social media. Hashtags like #PopeTagle trended worldwide. The world was ready for a leader who spoke of love and mercy. Echoes of humility, whispers of change. Pope Tagle's first homily was a powerful reminder of the Church's mission in the world. It was a call to return to the essentials of the faith and embrace the transformative power of the gospel. It was a glimpse into the heart and soul of the new Pope, a man shaped by deep faith and commitment to the poor and marginalized. Commentators would dissect his words, searching for clues about his direction for the Church. Some saw his emphasis on mercy and compassion as a sign of prioritizing dialogue and outreach. Others pointed to his focus on the Eucharist and the Church's missionary mandate. Still, others saw in his humility a sign that he would be a Pope of the people. Whatever the future held, Pope Tagle's papacy would be defined by love, mercy, and hope. the power of why. Throughout his homily, Pope Tagle wove in a recurring theme, the power of why. He challenged the faithful to delve deeper into their faith, to move beyond the rote rituals and seek a deeper understanding of the why behind their beliefs. He emphasized that faith, true faith, wasn't merely about blind adherence, but rather a journey of questioning, seeking, and ultimately finding meaning and purpose. He reminded them that even Jesus, in his earthly ministry, often asked why, seeking to understand, to challenge assumptions, and to guide his followers towards deeper truths. This emphasis on the why resonated deeply with many, particularly the younger generation. In a world saturated with information and often lacking in meaning, Pope Tagle's words offered a refreshing approach to faith, one that encouraged critical thinking, intellectual curiosity, and a genuine desire to grapple with life's big questions. He didn't shy away from the difficult questions either, acknowledging the pain and suffering present in the world and challenging the faithful to be instruments of healing and hope. He reminded them that the Church, at its core, was a community of believers united by their shared love for Christ and their commitment to living out his teachings in the world. A church renewed, a world transformed. Pope Tagle's vision for the Church was one of renewal and transformation. He spoke of a church that was outward-looking, engaged with the world, and committed to addressing issues of poverty and justice and inequality. He called for a church that was a beacon of hope in a world often shrouded in darkness, a church that embraced dialogue, fostered understanding, and worked tirelessly to build bridges of peace. His message resonated not just with the faithful, but with people of all faiths and none. There was a growing recognition that the world was facing unprecedented challenges: climate change, political polarization, economic inequality, and that addressing these challenges required a collective effort grounded in shared values of compassion, solidarity, and the common good. Pope Tagle's homily was a powerful reminder that religion, at its best, could be a force for positive change in the world. It could inspire individuals to live more meaningful lives, to reach out to those in need, and to work for a more just and compassionate society. Legacies intertwined, futures unknown. The papacy of Pope Tagle marked a departure from the past in many ways. While acknowledging the contributions of his predecessors, he brought his own unique style, experiences, and priorities to the role. The legacy of Pope Francis, with his emphasis on mercy, humility, and a poor church for the poor, undoubtedly influenced Tagle's own approach. But there was a sense that this new papacy would chart its own course, responding to the unique challenges and opportunities of a rapidly changing world. The Catholic Church, under his leadership, seemed poised for a period of introspection and renewal. The challenges were many internal divisions, declining membership in some parts of the world, ongoing scandals, but there was also a palpable sense of hope, a belief that this new pontificate could usher in an era of healing, growth, and renewed purpose. The world watched with bated breath, eager to see how this new chapter in the long and storied history of the Catholic Church would unfold. Only time would tell what impact Pope Tagle's leadership would have, but one thing was certain: the Church, and indeed the world, would never be the same. Never be a tapestry of faith woven with hope. As the sun set over St. Peter's Square, Pope Tagle offered a final blessing. The crowd stood in hushed reverence, captivated by his words. The basilica glowed in the golden light, a shared feeling of hope. Pope Tagle's homily was a testament to faith and hope. Different languages filled the air, reflecting the Church's universality. Families walked hand in hand, faces alight with joy. Elderly couples leaned on each other, eyes reflecting faith. Young people, inspired by the Pope, chatted energetically. The world witnessed a new chapter in the Catholic Church. As the faithful left, they carried hope for a brighter future. Please subscribe to our channel History Documentary Hub for more insightful videos and intriguing content.